we first reviewed the GAC GN6 a couple years ago, and I absolutely love that premium 7-seater MPV, and it distanced itself from the competition by offering some premium level amenities. But to be honest, it was quite unrefined and it lacked a couple of few things. But this time though, GAC introduced this bad boy right here, and I think you're gonna love the new tricks that it's learned. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be reviewing the 2024 GAC M6 Pro. So there are two variants to the GAC M6 Pro, the GS variant, which is the entry-level model, and the GL. This is what we have right here. So it's got all the bells and whistles, and I'm gonna tell you more about them right now. Let's start with the front end. You got this flying wing design, which actually gives it a lot more class, a lot more sportiness because of all these chrome trims around here, plus this nice looking DRL LED here, and you kind of have it mimic right below with a chrome trim as well. It looks a little pretty busy in my opinion, but you will definitely get used to it, especially of how it integrates itself with the entire body. You got a huge GAC badge right here, and underneath it you got a front camera which works with the 360-degree camera system. And finally, the GAC M6 Pro has advanced driver assist systems, as evident with a camera up top right there. It's got a really short hood here, but underneath it, it's got a lot of power. A 1.5-liter turbocharged gasoline engine, which we'll be talking more about later on in our drive. So much more of that simplicity and that simple design language follows through right here in the side profile, which in my opinion really makes it look a lot more elegant than what its price actually suggests. You got 18-inch alloy wheels right here, which I really love. I mean, I'm starting to change my mind about two-tone alloy wheels, and it really is evident right here. The M6 Pro has got the multi-spoke alloy wheels right there, and I like how the tires actually fit quite well inside the wheel wells here. Now you got a chrome strip right there below, adding a little bit more flair to the side profile, because you won't find any too dramatic of a character line right here, except this one running through its belt line from the front fender all the way to the back. You have another chrome strip right here on top of these huge expansive windows here. Probably add that for visibility's sake. Now the previous GN6 Pro was rated to have around 205 millimeters of ground clearance. This time GAC didn't give any official figures, but that does sound right around the same spot right here with the M6 Pro. Now things get a little bit more interesting again right here on the rear end of the GAC M6 Pro. Now with my review of the GN6, I was decrying the fact that you had this entire assembly at the back, but it only had DRLs, or rear DRLs right here on the side. But this time though, with the M6 Pro, it's got a full light bar. In fact, right here on top, you got what looks like another light bar. Nah, just kidding. That's just the third brake lamp, but it is pretty expansive in my opinion. You could probably work with just something smaller, but it is what it is, and it looks nice. You got a hint of a spoiler up top, which is a nice touch in my opinion, as well as a shark's fin antenna. You got a GAC badge right here, and the M6 Pro 270T. What does 270T mean? It means it's got 270 Newton meters of torque. You want to tell everyone how much torque you make, so you could probably put the horsepower rating there as well, but hey, it's the 270T M6 Pro. So you got a couple of reflectors right there at the bottom as well, and a chrome lip for the rear. You won't see any exhaust ports there because it's not pretending to be a sports car. This is an MPV through and through, and I appreciate that. One thing I do miss though, but the GAC GN6 didn't have either, is a power tailgate. Instead, you got this manual opening tailgate here, which is nice and fine. At least you have the option to open up right away instantaneously, but if you want to open it up with all your your hands full with bags of groceries, you won't be able to do so. But once you do open it up, it's got a nice low loading space here, so you can actually put all your stuff in easy. Let me just demonstrate that. You got something really low right here. You can just lift it up easy and put it in. Now the loading floor right here in the back is pretty deep once you have the third row seats up. This is helpful, especially when you have a lot of stuff with you, brought a lot of groceries. You can hide it right there. It's not going to stick out right here and stop the door from closing down. But if you need even more space, you can actually fold these rear seats down. And unlike other third or three-row SUVs or MPVs, these actually fold. They have a nice, they have a neat trick where it actually folds exactly flat right here in the back. To fold the rear seats down, you gotta do this step by step. Pull these tabs up top, fold it down. By itself, it actually gives you more space, but it's got another trick up its sleeve. So pull this down here and use this hook, keep it in place. Got a flat floor. But if you need even more space though, those second row seats are captain seats, so they won't be able to be folded down like that. So you're tough out of luck. But this should be more than enough to work for you. No surfboards here though. All right, so we're inside the GAC M6 Pro, and the first thing that came right at me is how refined everything is. I mean, you've got soft touch materials right here in the center of the dashboard. Fortunately, hard touch plastic on top, as well as right here on the door cards. But you do have soft touch material, leather material in the front here, basically everything where you usually touch. So the outboard armrest, the center armrest, and you get a nice silver design right here on the door handle with some sort of wavy mountain design. And you have this powered by DTS, so you got a DTS system, which the sound system does sound decent enough that you wouldn't want to change it if you're not an audiophile. I myself am not really an audiophile, but I find it adequate for everyday use. You got a huge 12.5-inch touchscreen infotainment system right here, and it's integrated in this one-piece assembly with a 7-inch multi-information display, which is pretty nice. Now we'll get to the touchscreen later on. I want to talk about that display though. If you would expect that to have different themes like the GAC M-Pow, the M-Zoom, nope, it just changes color depending on your drive mode. So you got green for eco, blue for comfort, and red for sport, of course. Now the touchscreen infotainment system is nice. The touch sensitivity is it's pretty smooth actually. You do have to wait just a split second before it gets to the next menu, but I wouldn't call it laggy at all. Plus it's pretty high definition. It does get a little dim though, especially in bright situations, but it is perfectly acceptable. It does have Apple CarPlay, so Apple fans rejoice. The Apple fans right there, but you don't have any Android Auto, which is quite a bummer. It does have a smartphone integration system called HiLife, but for the love of me, I'm not able to install it on my phone. But you know, if you can at least connect your Bluetooth to it, put your phone right there, it's mounted easily, it won't fall off. It's easy, it's nice, but I wish it had Android Auto. Now the center console is nicely stacked. You got full manual controls for the dual zone automatic climate control. You even have this nice center console, this dual shifter right here. It's nice to hold, perfect for the hand. You don't have any, it does control the 7-speed dual clutch transmission, but you don't have any low gears. At least you have some drive modes to control your driving dynamics. You do have an electronic parking brake, automatic brake hold, 2 USB ports, a USB-A for you to connect your phone with, and USB-C for fast charging, so that's nice. Now one miss in my opinion is that because you had this huge center console, you would expect to have some sort of shelf underneath it, but that is nowhere to be found. At least you got some nice cup holders right here, another place for you to put your phone in, and more importantly, a deep center console. I can even fit this huge camera right here inside, no problems. All right, the steering wheel is nice and chunky. It's a circular steering wheel, no D shapes here. No, we're not going to pretend that this is a sporty vehicle, but it has complete features. At least you got your ADAS or advanced driver assist system controls right here on the right side that controls your lane keep assist, as well as your advanced or adaptive cruise control, as well as your media buttons right here on the left side. It's not adjustable for reach, only rake or up and down, which is a bummer, but that's okay. At least they were able to give us some power driver seats here. It's adjustable for forward, back, up, down, and it tilts up and down as well. So achieving your perfect driving position would be easier, but it would have been even easier if you had telescopic steering wheel, but that's okay. Visibility is nice inside. You have areas where you usually have some blind spots, but GAC was able to mitigate that with some smartly placed windows here. You even have this gray headliner. I would have preferred it to be black so it's easier to clean, but gray actually adds a little bit more air inside and some light. This definitely adds some light. You got the star of the show, a panoramic sunroof. Right, so right here on the second row of the GAC M6 Pro, I know I said that the star of the show is this panoramic sunroof, but I digress. I think this is definitely the star of the show, the second row captain seats. So these are very comfortable. Unlike the seats right here on the driver's side and the front passenger side, this is fairly soft. You even have two armrests on each side as a captain seat would. Unfortunately, you don't get an ottoman, but that's asking too much, I guess. You do have a hump on front right here that can act as a footrest, but because of that, it does decrease the room for your feet a little bit. Now, leg room is adequate, but it is not class leading though. I still have a lot of space for my knees and my legs, but I've got the seat all the way backed out here. So if I got it like this, I won't be able to seat anyone in the back. So I have to adjust just a little bit. This is still okay, but not the best, I guess. But this is still adequate. At least I got captain seats right here in the middle, and it's very, very comfortable. I can actually see myself being right here during very long drives, so this is fairly easy. One thing that you have though, the reason why you've got a hump right there up front is that it hides the spare tire. That's right. If you notice in the back, it's got lots of space for your stuff. They actually were able to fit a spare tire underneath the second row. I mean the first row right there, which is kind of a nice quirk. You do have a solitary USB port right here in the middle, but don't worry because you have another USB port right here on the right side. It is fast charging as well, as well as a slot to put your phone in. And for cup holders, all you got to do is press this button right here, and you got two cup holders right there, two bottle holders right here on each side, and a control for the AC on the back as well, which is a neat trick. You gotta ask me, oh, it's pretty cold and loud as well. You got these nice airplane looking lights on top, nice and bright, two map pockets on each side, and yeah, this is definitely a livable place. I wonder if I could live here for the next few days. We'll see. All right, so we'll do a third row check and see how I fit. Remember, I've got the seat. I don't have the seat all the way back because I got to give myself some space. So I have it in this way, give it a little bit more reasonable leg room, and see if I can fit myself behind myself if I'm in the second row. All right, so right now I'm in the third row of the GAC M6 Pro, and yeah, I could work with this. I still have nice room for my feet and leg room, but most importantly, headroom right here. You've got two USB ports on each side, two cup holders, and it is comfortable to be here. No, but not bad. I wonder if you have an armrest. No armrest right here. This is pretty good. I doubt if I can fit three of myself here. It is possible. It's gonna be quite a squeeze, but at least two of myself can fit. I'm 5'10.5". I'm pretty chunky. I'm wide, but this is good. This is a definite pass for me with the GAC M6 Pro. I mean, I remember I have the second row fit to my to at least reasonable room, and this is perfect. This is great. Thumbs up. All right, so we're now behind the wheel of the 2024 GAC M6 Pro. So under the hood, we start with the engine. You've got a 1.5 liter turbocharged gasoline engine mated to a 7-speed wet type dual clutch transmission. Now it's powering the front wheel, so this is a front wheel drive vehicle. It does make a decent amount of power, 174 horses and 270 Newton meters of torque. It's easy for me to remember how much torque it makes because it is part of the badge in the back. So yeah, I checked that out. 270 Newton meters of torque, easy. So you've got three drive modes. You've got Eco, Comfort, and Sport. Eco does nerf the acceleration just a little bit. Comfort, yeah, as the as the term says, comfort does make things a little bit more comfortable, make things a little bit more tame, but it does add a little bit more acceleration characteristics. And sport, well, the sport mode actually helps you out with stiffening up the steering wheel and making sure that it does keep the revs high up just a little bit to give you that extra boost of power. Now, what I do love about the GAC M6 Pro though is that you can actually customize your drive according to what you need it to be. So even though you're in eco mode, you can actually set your steering wheel for sport, so you can get the benefits of better fuel economy and you know, better road feel. And when I say better road feel, that's not really saying much, because you are driving an MPV. Don't expect this to be a sports car or an SUV, because yeah, steering is very vague. So naturally, being a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, it does exhibit a little bit of that lurching feeling, especially when you're coming from a complete stop. Now, it does take a little bit getting used to. In fact, as I'm driving this right now, I'm getting a little bit more adept at driving at dual speed. But if you're coming from a normal slush box automatic, a CVT, it's gonna feel a little jarring, as if it's your first time driving a manual transmission. That's exactly how it feels like. But the learning curve is there once you get used to it, like so. Yeah, it does get a little bit getting used to. Now, the brakes though, I do have some issues about the brake as well. For the driver at least, it does feel a little spongy, especially when you're coming to a complete stop from speed, like so. But again, this is a more passenger-oriented car. So when I was riding this as a passenger, I didn't feel much of that. In fact, it felt really smooth, very comfortable inside. It's just that it's not definitely going to be a driver's car, I mean, at all. So, right, we're going to talk about suspension-wise. You do have a normal McPherson strut up front, and a torsion bar in the back. And yeah, it is adequate. It does soak up a lot of the road imperfections, like this one right here. You can barely feel that. The suspension is definitely tuned again for more for comfort. It does feel a little floaty inside here, but that's good for the passenger. So the passenger would really feel less of those road imperfections. In fact, it'll feel a little sleepy. Let me just adjust this a little bit. Now, what it does lack in outright speed and acceleration, it does make up more for it when it comes to fuel economy. Fuel economy for the GAC M6 Pro is average. In fact, I'm ready to call it above average, about 8 to 9 kilometers per liter in the city, which is how I'm driving it right now. I wouldn't expect anything less from it. 8 to 9 kilometers per liter in the city is my rating. But once you get it out on the highway, once I tested it out, I was able to get some decent numbers. 15 kilometers per liter on the highway with myself, 2 passengers inside, with all our baggage. So it's good. Being the top of the line GL variant, this definitely has all the features when it comes to safety. Now, of course, you got your standard ones: airbags, ISOFIX, ABS, electronic brake force distribution, stability control, but it still has some extra advanced driver assist systems. For example, the much asked for adaptive cruise control. Yep, it's got it. It's got lane keep assist, lane departure warning. It even has a traffic jam assist that can help you. It's pretty much like cruise control in traffic jam situations. You even have that 360-degree camera system that we talked about earlier. You even have, weirdly enough, downhill control. So so your downhill assist system right here, it's pretty much like an off-road feature, and you got it in the GAC M6 Pro. So yeah, I would definitely like it. There's also one thing here, it's like a DVR system called tachograph. It's in Chinese. The menu is in Chinese, but that is for a DVR system that you can control. If GAC can find a way to localize that and activate that in future models, or even in the production models. This is a test unit, by the way. They can use that for even more safety, which in my opinion is very useful, especially these days with some sweet potatoes all around. Right, it also has rear sensors, rear parking sensors, which is definitely helpful. Now with all those safety features, it does lack a few bits and pieces here, like a blind spot monitoring system and rear cross traffic alert, which is odd because it does have all the tools for the M6 Pro to have that, but unfortunately it does not have it. Now the reason behind that, of course, is the price. Now the price of the GAC M6 Pro is more than competitive, especially in its segment, starting at 1,230,000 pesos for the entry-level model. That's not this model, by the way. At that price, that variant doesn't have the advanced driver assist system. So you get just the basics, the rear camera. You don't even have a 360-degree camera with it, and you have less speakers to play with. But with the top of the line variant, 1,598,000 pesos, which is at the same price of the entry-level variant of many of its rivals. Speaking of its rivals, the most obvious one, and the one it's really targeting, is the Toyota Innova, the Toyota Innova Zenix in particular. Now we're not talking about the top of the line Zenix, which is the hybrid variant. We're talking about the entry-level one, which is at the same price of the top of the line M6 Pro. So that's my full review of the GAC M6 Pro, and in my opinion, it is a strong contender to be the perfect first family car. It can fit all your stuff in it, as well as your family, your friends. You can take it out. Pretty fuel efficient and powerful thanks to that 7-speed dual clutch transmission mated to the turbocharged engine. But what do you think? Thanks so much for watching. It's been Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph. I will see you guys next time.